All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Ba'ath Dawada, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. All right. This is a Friday evening camp. We're going to go ahead and get started with the book of Romans. Romans chapter 7, starting at the top. And it says, Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth. And that's a question. So, as long as a man lives, is he not under the law? Of course he is. As Israelites, we were given this law. Okay, we have to abide by it as long as we live. Okay. Verse 2: For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband, so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of the husband. Okay, so the main point of the camp lesson is to go into the importance and the value of marriage, because here in this society, marriage is treated as a temporary business transaction. Okay, people they don't treat it with respect as if it's something to be sacred and holy. Okay, they just treat it as something, as a way of getting money. Especially you women. I mean, if a man finds a woman that is born to a family with a lot of money, he marries her. That's sure, but still, marriage is about, unconditional love and obedience to your significant other. But people don't see it. But this society don't see it that way. Okay, and as long as a woman's husband is alive, she is bound to him. But if he passes on, she's no longer under him. Okay, and it's going to say right here in verse 3. So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. So, if you divorce your husband, or you separate from him, or things are complicated and you just don't want to be around each other, you can't do that. You have to learn to discipline yourselves and work things out and become stronger and better together. So that way you have no more arguments and disagreements and any more disruption. Okay. So, if you go sleep with another man while your current husband is alive, you're committing adultery. And the price for adultery, according to the scriptures, is death. Okay, now, but if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. So, if your current husband passes on, you have the option to remarry or stay single. Okay? So that's the only way you cannot be considered an adulteress or a harlot, is if your current husband that you're with passes on, and if you have the option to choose to remarry or stay single. All right, now we're going to get the book of Mark. Mark chapter 10, verse 12. And it says, And if a woman shall put away her husband and be married to another, she committeth adultery. So if a woman divorces her husband and goes with another man, that's adultery. And like I said, the price to pay for adultery is death. So you women who are married, You women who are married, you need to learn to stay with your husband until he passes on. But if he don't, stay with him. Be faithful to him. But in this society, women, because this society, women are given equal power and rights to the man, so these women just do whatever the hell they want. Because Jeremiah 31:22, how long wilt thou go about, O backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath put a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man, roughly paraphrasing. So a woman compasses a man in this society. She rules over a man. She gives him orders. Okay? Women are put in a position of leadership. And that's completely going off because a woman's not supposed to be in a position of leadership or supervision. Okay? Leadership and supervision positions are supposed to be given to men, not women. Women are supposed to follow the man, not the man follow the woman. Okay, so we're going to go to Leviticus. Leviticus 20:10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. Okay? So, that's another thing too. Here in America, we live in an adulterous generation. Okay? We have women sleeping around from one man to the next on the cock carousel. We got men sleeping around with their best friend's girlfriend or their brother's wife or their cousin's girl. They don't care. Like, people just don't care. In this society, everybody is somebody else's sloppy seconds or third or fourth or so on and so forth. Everybody gets a turn. That's sick. That's just how sick and fucked up these people are. All right, now we're going to go to the book of 1 Corinthians. It's going to be 1 Corinthians chapter 7. First Corinthians chapter 7, starting from the top. Verse 1, now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. And why is that? Because in this society, like I said, women have the power to put a man in a position where his life is completely ruined. She can take everything from a man and leave him with nothing. A woman can destroy a man. So if you can, as a man, it's best just to leave these women alone because they are nothing but bitches, demons. That's all they are. A lot of them are. That's why it's best just to leave these women alone. If all possible. I mean, sure, as men, yes, we're in this corruptible flesh. We have desires and needs to where, there's going to come a time where we need a woman's touch. That's understandable and that's natural. But, if you can avoid it, for the most part, to leave these women alone, hey, more power to you. Less of a headache for you to deal with. Verse 2, nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Okay? So, to avoid sleeping with somebody who could be with somebody else, to avoid that altogether, get your own woman, and you women, get your own man. Get a man. A woman that's not, defiled. Well, in this society, it's hard to find a woman that's meek, humble, and is still a virgin and hasn't been touched. It is very, very hard to find that. That's why you just gotta deal wisely with these women. When you deal with these women, it's not about just dealing with her looks or, you know, or any of that, because roughly paraphrasing the scripture, you know, if you lust after her with your mind, in your mind, you have committed adultery with her already. So you can't look at these women just for the sole purpose of, you know, wanting to fuck them. You know, you got to you gotta see where these women, where their mind is at. You know, are they just another one of those hoes that's just trying to get attention? Or is this woman really know, you know, about what's going on in the world, and she knows that things are not easy, things are getting harder, and it's starting to get dangerous. And she's gonna have to realize that she's gonna need somebody to, you know, for protection and security. Verse 3, let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband, okay? Learn to respect each other. Treat each other right, okay? Respect each other and treat each other right according to your positions as men and women, you know? The man being the head of the household, the woman being the one who follows the man. She's the servant to her husband, but at the same time, she takes care of the house and she takes care of the children. Verse 4, the wife hath not power over her own body, but the husband. Okay, that's verse 4. I'll read it again. 1 Corinthians 7:4. The wife hath not power over her own body, but the husband. Okay? So, when a man takes a woman to be his wife, okay, she belongs to him. She does not belong to any other man but him. It's that simple. And it says here, here. And likewise, also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. Okay? So, when a woman gets with the man, okay, that's her husband. Okay? It's just, that doesn't make her his equal or anything. That's just saying that, okay, this is her husband. This is the man that she's with. Which means that the only man she gets to be with and do anything with is with her husband. All right? And here's a quick other precept here for Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. Genesis 3 and 16. Genesis chapter 3, verse 16, and it says, let me get there real quick here, and it says, Genesis 3 and 16, it says, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. So there you go. So your desire shall be to your husband, and he shall rule over you. Okay? Men were meant to be over the women. That's how the Lord set it up. Men are supposed to be over the woman, and the woman is supposed to be under the man. And why did the Lord greatly multiply her sorrow and thy conception? Well, she went off. Eve in the garden disobeyed, and she was beguiled by the serpent, because why? Women are the weaker vessel. They are easier to manipulate. And so she went off and followed those other philosophies, not an actual fruit from a tree. She went off and followed another philosophy. And the serpent in the garden was not an actual snake. It was a man that deceived her, and she fell for it. And then by doing so, she got Adam in trouble. Okay, now we're going to go back to 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter. First Corinthians chapter 7, going down to verse 8. 1 Corinthians 7 and 8. And it says, I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide, or even as I. Verse 9, but if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry them than to burn. So if you are unmarried, or I mean, so that's for the women. If you cannot control yourself to not become a hoe and just go out there and go see this guy and go see that guy, marry a man. Get with one man and stick with him. Okay? Better to have one person who could do whatever, who could give you your desires, than to be, hot and bothered constantly and go off and go do this and go do that. No, you like I said, a woman can only have one man. Okay? It's better to have someone than to be hot and bothered. In verse 10, it says, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. Okay? Stay with your man. Regardless of what trials and tribulations you guys go through, or if you're not seeing eye to eye on anything, learn to stay with him. That's your man. He's your provider. He's your protector. Okay? You don't abandon him like that. Don't turn your back on him. Especially when he's invested time and money and care into, being with you. Okay? Verse 11. And it says, but if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. So, for whatever reason, if you decide to leave your husband, or to be reconciled, which means to as they say, kiss and make up, come to an agreement and learn to work things out and get back together. Let her remain, like if you depart, let her remain unmarried. Just, if she depart, let her go. But, if she realizes from her mistake and she wants to come back, okay, reconcile, make things right with her again. And, make things right with your husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. So, if she comes back, don't put her away again. Because now, if she's willing to realize her mistake and be sincere about it and humble herself, okay, take her back, and this time, hold on to her and make sure that she stays in line. This is going to be Deuteronomy 24 and 1. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. Verse 2. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Verse 3. And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and giveth it in her hand, and sendeth her out of his house. Or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife. Verse 4. Her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that she is defiled. For that is abomination before the Lord, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy power giveth thee for an inheritance. Okay, so if a woman is found to be unfavorable or undesirable, or for some reason her first husband finds something about her that he doesn't like, he gives her away through that bill of divorcement, and she goes to be another man's wife. And if he finds something about her that he doesn't like, or she did something he doesn't like, or whatever, she can't go back to her first husband. She just might as well remain single because she's defiled because she went with another man. And that's a lot of women these days, man. They do shit that causes, they do things that cause their, I'm gonna just get the script. I'm gonna get the precept here. This is the book of Proverbs. Proverbs 6:34, and it says, "For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance." Verse 35, "He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts." Okay? A man has a right to be jealous if his woman is doing something that he don't like, or if she's messing with another man, flirt with another man or something. He has a right to be jealous. That's not about being insecure, it's that he has a right to, because that's his woman. So what the hell is she doing with this man over here? And I'm talking about, oh, he's insecure. Oh, he ain't a real man. Oh, no. A real man doesn't let his woman go off and do stupid shit like that. That's what this society teaches. That a man's supposed to let his woman do what she wants. No. All right, I'm gonna get, this is gonna be the book of 1 Peter. First Peter chapter 3, verse 1. It says, "Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives." So as a wife, you are supposed to submit yourself to your husband, okay? Because I just read in Genesis 3:16 that a woman, that your desire shall be to your husband, and he shall rule over you. Okay? So you're supposed to be in subjection to your own husband. Submit yourself to him. Okay? You are, in fact, when you look up the words woman in the etymology dictionary, woman means servant. And the word wife is just simply another word for woman. So a wife is a woman, and a woman is a servant. So a woman's servant to who? Her husband. Okay? And now, if they obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. So, for example, if your wife or the woman that you're with, if she has girlfriends and they be talking that shit, and they cause your wife to second guess herself or have second thoughts, and that's what a lot of these women are in these societies, especially if a woman has a lot of girlfriends or too many guy friends. They cause your woman to go off. They're nothing but demons, man, because especially a girl who has a lot of girlfriends, because they're miserable because their friend has a husband and they don't. Probably because these men don't want to put up with them being bitches. They don't want to humble themselves and submit themselves. That's why they don't have a husband. After all, misery needs company. So they're miserable and jealous because their friend has a significant other and they don't, and they're still single. This will be verse 2. "While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear." Verse 3, "Who is adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold or of putting on apparel." Okay? So don't focus on, trying to look good in the flesh. Try to have that beauty on the spirit, in the spirit. That's the thing about, especially about a lot of these women. They're so focused on looking good. They're so focused on looking good that, as they say, don't judge a book by its cover, because a woman could look like a Victoria's Secret model, but in the spirit, this woman could be a real bitch. Just mean, rude, nasty, rebellious as hell. So, that's why you can't focus on how a woman looks, man. Roughly paraphrasing, stumble not at a woman's beauty. And that's why let me see. So try to have that beauty on the inside, And how do you do that? By being a woman of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, following the law, statutes, and commandments. And if you have a husband, submit yourself to him. Embrace what true femininity is. To be feminine is to be in subjection to your husband. Be what a wife's supposed to be around the house, take care of the house and take care of the kids. But in this society, the family structure is all fucked up to where the woman has to work as well as the man. It takes two to make it in here, in this place. All right, let's see. Verse 4. But let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of the Most High of great price. So, a meek and humble man that is not corrupted by these abominable ways is of a great price in the Lord's eyes, something to be valued. After all, the Lord dwells with the meek and lowly, those that are humble in spirit. Verse 5. For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in the power adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. So the women of ancient time, they knew better. They knew their place and their role as a woman. But here in this modern day Western civilization, women don't care about that. They want to do whatever the hell they want. Girls just want to have fun. Yeah, well, when all hell breaks loose, it ain't going to be fun and games then. Verse 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord. Calling him Lord. So your husband is your Lord. Okay? Whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement. So as long as you abide by the law, statutes, and commandments, and if you have a husband, submit yourself unto him as a servant would submit themselves unto their king. Okay? You do that, Yahweh Shem Yahshua is pleased with you. Okay? It's that simple. All right, in verse 7, it says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel. Okay? Respect a woman for her role. Okay? For her being a woman and doing her role, which is to, be under your rule and being a nurturer, which means taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, and being your comfort, convenience, and support. And as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. Heirs of the grace of life, that your prayers may not be hindered. So, respect each other's roles, for the man being the Lord and the ruler and the head of the household, the woman being the nurturer and the caregiver, and being heirs together of the grace of life. Okay? And that your prayers be not hindered. Okay, so a man and a woman, they are a team. Okay, they know their roles and they do what they're supposed to do. Okay, that's the grace of life, especially by following the law, statutes, and commandments, and how to be a true functioning couple. All right, we're going to get the book of Exodus, chapter 21. Exodus 21 and 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. Okay, so if a man takes him a second wife, or a third, or fourth, he has to take care of them, just like he does his first wife. Okay, he has to make sure that she's taken care of. She got, as a provider, as a protector, because that's what a man does for a woman. He's her provider and her protector. Because that's what these women look for. Because a real woman, she's going to look for that in a man, for protection and security. All right? Now, I know a lot of people have a problem with a man having more than one woman, but in the scriptures, a man's supposed to have more than one wife. And just for a couple examples, I'm going to get the book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 14. Verse 3. And it says, and David took more wives at Jerusalem, and David begat more sons and daughters. Okay? Talking about King David, he had multiple wives. And there's another one, and here they are. Now these are the names. Let's see. Okay. Gosh, if I can remember, it'll come back to me. I just gotta give it time. So King David had multiple wives, and he had children by them. And another one is 2 Chronicles chapter 11, verse 21. Chapter 11, verse 21, and it says, and Rehoboam, who is the son of Solomon, loved Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, above all his wives and his concubines. For he took 18 wives and 60 concubines. 60 meaning 60. And begat 28 sons and 60 daughters. Okay? So that tells you right there. And we all know that Solomon had 300 wives and 700 concubines, I believe. So men can have more than one wife, according to the law in this book. But in this society, a man having more than one woman, he's seen as being a man whore or a player. Now we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 60, verse 22. And it says, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in his time. So, as the scriptures say in the book of Genesis, beef, let me get it, because I don't want to botch it. Genesis chapter, I think it was 3 as well. Slovakia. But roughly paraphrasing the scripture, it's, they say that, let me see if I can find it here. But, roughly paraphrasing, be ye fruitful and multiply. And how do we multiply? By having more than one woman. Oh wow. It was just, wow. Slovakia. Here we go. Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. So the power created man in his own image. In the image of the power created he him, male and female created he them. Okay? So he only created two genders, man and woman. All this other crap that this wicked society teaches with these transformers and all these other different sexual orientations, no, there's only man and woman. Okay, and a man's supposed to be with the woman and a woman with the man. Verse 28, and the Most High and the power blessed them, and the power said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Okay? So as Israelites, when the time comes, we're going to have rulership over everything again. All the animals, over the animals that dwell upon land, the fowls of the air, and the fish of the sea. We're going to have dominion over the whole earth again, as we were meant to. So yeah, be fruitful and multiply. A man needs multiple women. A man can have more than one woman. Okay? Now, I'm gonna get this, and of course, a lot of women are going to get pissed about this, but we don't care because this is the truth. Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 26, verse 6, and it says, but a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth withal. So it's a grief of heart and sorrow for a woman to be jealous over another woman. And what does it say? And a scourge of the tongue which communicated withal. Okay? So you know, all that shit talk, jealous, like the scriptures say, a woman, that's why you women have to learn to humble yourselves, and you're just gonna have to learn to get over it. Okay? There's more women in this world than there are men. Okay? And I'm gonna get one scripture that's gonna correlate to the end times when all hell breaks loose. So, you women, you getting jealous or talking shit about another woman when your husband wants this woman, all you're doing is just stirring up grief and causing your husband a headache. And now you women wonder why your husband wants to get away from you for a little while. Roughly paraphrasing, it's better to... Oh gosh. Find it in the book of Proverbs here. Proverbs. I think it's, let's see, I know I have. Oh, where is it? I know it's in here somewhere. Slovakia, bear with me one moment. Oh, man. Well, here's one quick precept here, and it says, a virtuous woman is a crown to her husband. Okay, so a virtuous woman, a woman that has discipline, control, and is not a harlot, is a crown to her husband. Okay, you women are the glory of your husband. Okay, you represent your husband by your conduct. But she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones. Okay? If you are shameful, or if you're shameless and have no humility and you're just rebellious, you're just causing your husband grief, stress, distrust. And ultimately he doesn't want to have nothing to do with you. Okay? Oh man, let's see. But roughly paraphrasing, it is better to dwell on the rooftops than with a brawling, contentious woman. Or no, it's better to dwell with lions than with a contentious and brawling woman, roughly paraphrasing. So it's better to be out of the house and to dwell with a wild animal, or just to be out of the house in general and just have some peace and quiet to yourself than to deal with a rebellious wife, a woman who's back talking, bucking up against you, not following your order. What man wants to deal with that? And these women say, oh, he's just a weak ass man. No, a real man's not going to deal with your shit. And if you keep acting like that, you're not going to have a man. And if you say you don't need a man, okay, fine. Wait until when shit hits the fan. We'll see what you can do. And more than likely, if you come running back to him, he's not going to take your ass back, because you treated him like shit in the first place. All right, going to the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 3. Now we're going to get into the more spiritual aspect of marriage concerning Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and his people. Okay, this is going to be the book of Jeremiah chapter 3, starting at verse 6. And it says, the Lord said also unto me, in the days of Josiah the king, who was the king of Judah at the time, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? Israel, talking about the northern kingdom. She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot. Okay, and how did Israel as a whole, both northern and southern kingdom, how did we play the harlot? By not following the law, statutes, and commandments, by following after false gods, which is idolatry, and committing adultery and physical adultery. So Israel defiled itself. But this is talking about the northern kingdom right here. In verse 7, and I said after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me, but she returned not. Her treacherous sister Judah, the southern kingdom, saw it. Verse 8, and I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. Okay, so the southern kingdom did the same thing. They fucked up. In verse 10 it says, and yet for all this her treacherous sister Judah hath not turned unto me with her whole heart, but feignedly, saith the Lord. Okay, so the southern kingdom said, did not turn to the Lord with all their heart. They said that they would, but it was under a pretense, a falsehood. They said that they would, but they didn't. So they basically lied. Okay? Now we're going to go to Leviticus. It's going to be the 26th chapter. Leviticus 26. Leviticus 26 and 40. Leviticus 26:40, and it says, if they shall confess the iniquity of their fathers, with their trespass which they trespassed against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, 41, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies, if then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity, verse 42, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. So again, the covenant was given, the promises was given unto Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the chosen line. Verse 43, the land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths, while she lieth desolate without them. So right now Israel is without her children, the Israelites, while she lieth desolate without them, and they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because they despised my judgments, and because their soul abhorred my statutes. So Israel, the nation of Israel was rebellious. In verse 44, and yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them to destroy them utterly, excuse me, and to break my covenant with them, for I am the Lord their power. 45, but I will for their sakes remember the covenant of their ancestors, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt, in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their power. I am the Lord. Verse 46, these are the statutes and judgments and laws which the Lord made between him and the children of Israel in Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses. In fact, let's go back to Exodus, the 24th chapter. We're gonna Exodus 24, and I'm gonna start Exodus 24 and 6. And it says, and Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood. In fact, I'm gonna start at verse 5. No, verse 4. Actually, I'm going to start at verse 3. And it says, and Moses, Exodus 24 and 3. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which the Lord hath said will we do. Okay? We said it ourselves back then. We do. Verse 4. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and builded an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. Verse 5, and he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offer burnt offerings and sacrifice peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. Verse 6, and Moses took half of the blood and put it on basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. Verse 7, and he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people, and they said, all that the Lord hath said will we do, and be obedient. Verse 8, and Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words. So we made a blood contract. That's like signing a contract in blood. That's basically sealing the deal in blood. Okay? So we made the covenant with Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai to be under him, to be his nation and his people, and to be under his laws, statutes, commandments, judgments, and ordinances. Now we're going to go back to Jeremiah. This is going to be Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 14. And it says, "Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion." Talking about the elect. For I am married unto you. We are married unto the Most High because we made that blood pact. That, that signed that, had that agreement in blood, which I just read in Exodus 24, the 24th chapter. So, in a physical sense, when a man takes a virgin, a woman who has never had sex, and when he breaks her hymen through the act of sex, becoming one flesh, she bleeds. That's that blood pact, meaning that now that has happened, in a more proper way of putting it, taking her virginity, they are now husband and wife. Okay, it's the same with us, but in a spiritual sense. Okay, the nation. In fact, let me see. Let's see. Jeremiah, the 31st chapter. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. And it says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah." So with both the northern and southern kingdom. Verse 32, "Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith the Lord." Okay. Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai was a husband, and he still is our husband, because why? Because we made that covenant with him. Alright. Verse 33, it says, "But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts. I will be their power, and they shall be my people." Verse 34, "And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Knowing the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more." And that is to come, Lord willing, that we are of the elect, but the nation, that we receive salvation the first go around, we get the hell up out of this place. Okay. Isaiah. Actually, I'm gonna get Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. Let's see. Jeremiah 6 and 2. And it says, "I have likened the daughter of Zion," talking about Israel, "to a comely and delicate woman." Okay. So Israel is like a comely and delicate woman unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai. Roughly paraphrasing, he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. Okay? Israel is Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai's favorite. We are his favorite. And that's never going to change. And I'm going to close out here. Isaiah 54, starting at verse 4. Starting at verse 5. And it says, "For thy maker is thine husband, the Lord of Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai of hosts is his name. and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. The power of the whole earth shall he be called. Verse 6, for the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken, and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth, when thou wast refused, saith the Lord, saith thy power. Verse 7, for a small moment have I forsaken thee. Why? Because we rebelled, we disobeyed. But with great mercies will I gather thee, the elect. Verse 8, in a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Lord thy Redeemer. So even though we're going through this hell because we disobeyed, Yahweh Hashem Yahshai is going to have mercy on us. Lord willing that we're of the elect, because that's the one he cares about right now. He don't care about the 2/3. Why? Because the 2/3 have chosen not to follow. They've chosen the world. John 8:44, ye are of your father the devil. That's what these 2/3 have chosen. They chose the world over Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay? They made their choice. They made their bed, now they gotta sleep in it. And the 2/3, they're counted for as heathens. They're not counted for as Israel, because they follow not the law. They follow after the ways of the heathen. They follow after the philosophies of the world. But we follow after us, the hopeful elect. We follow after the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, with all truth and sincerity, like we are commanded to. So, the hopeful elect, we are separate from the 2/3. And you can see that by how we conduct ourselves. Yes, we're in the flesh, and there's going to be times where we slip up and make mistakes, but a righteous man falleth 7 times. But we learn from our mistakes, and we get back up and we keep it moving. Salakia, it's getting a little dark, so I'm gonna close out here before it gets too dark to where I can't see myself. Okay, so oh wait, one more. There's one more script I wanted to get. This is going to be the book of Matthew, chapter 22. Come on. Matthew chapter 22, verse, come on. Okay, Matthew 22 and 9, and it says, wait, I'm gonna start at verse 8. Then saith he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. Verse 9, go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. So the servants went unto the highways, and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. Okay, so what are the prophets doing? We're out here on the highways and byways. We're not here for everybody. We're not here for all of Israel. We're only here for the elect. Okay, we're bidding as many as we can to the marriage. Okay, bid those who are willing to humble themselves and hearken unto the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay, because we are to make ourselves ready for the marriage, but because when the Lord returns, the bridegroom, we have to make sure that we are out of the 10 versions, we have to make sure that we're of the 5 wise versions rather than the 5 unwise. The 5 will have the oil, which is the knowledge, wisdom, understanding. The unwise will be the 2/3, and the 2/3 are going to be seeking for that oil. They're going to be wanting answers, but they're not going to get them. Why? Because they chose not to listen in the first place while they had the time to do so. And the time is now. But they keep ignoring us. And that's going to be to their own detriment. So that's what we're doing as the prophets. We're out here bidding as many as we can to the marriage. So that way when the Lord comes back, he'll be ready. He'll gather up his elect. Those that he has deemed worthy and accounted worthy to escape the said perils that are to come. Okay? Sorry, it's getting dark, so I hope that this was an edifying camp lesson. I would like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Ba'ath Dawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations, okay? See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharallah, Wa Ababal, Shalom, Barakatham.